welcome to a special edition of the DDS Squad Wrestling Pod. I am your host, as the usual, the Enforcer Len Anderson, coming at you live from the Enforcement Entertainment Studios in an undisclosed location in parts unknown. So we're coming in with a special episode. I hope you enjoyed the last one. It was recapping Uncharted Territory, Beyond Wrestling Uncharted Territory, episode 17. That just dropped yesterday. Today, this is a special podcast, and we're dropping the preview for Americanrana 19, Beyond Wrestling's biggest show of the year, and quite frankly, the biggest show of the year for independent wrestling. And if you're not going, which I hope you are, if you're not going, if you're not one of the 1,000 in attendance, you can still watch the show. You can check it out. It's streaming on independentwrestling.tv, iwtv.live. And you can, if you're not already a subscriber, you can go ahead and subscribe and get a 20-day free preview, I believe is what it is, or you get 20 days free using the promo code Uncharted. But make sure you use that, no matter what you do, make sure you use that promo code Uncharted so they know Beyond has driven you to the streaming service. It's important to Beyond. It's how they bring people in, and it's a metric so that they can count who's watching and they can continue to build, and boy, have they built over the last few months and last year to where we are today with Americanrana 19 coming up Sunday, July 28th at Foxwoods Resort Casino. So real quick, now that I got that out of the way, let's quickly discuss where you can follow the podcast here. We are the at DDS Squad Pod on Twitter, at Dudope Shit Squad to follow along with the shenanigans of the squad of Ryan Conrad, myself, my cousin Jamie, and honorary member for the weekend. Well, he's always an honorary member, but for this weekend he'll be featured with the squad. And that's Brian Finnegan coming up from Florida. So my buddy Brian, who lived here all his life, moved to Florida probably almost 12, 15 years ago, almost. It's been a while. And he's coming up just for Americanrana. He's flying in this weekend just to be a part of the show, just to see this show live. That's how special this show is, folks. That people are traveling from all over the country to see this show live at Foxwoods Resort Casino. It's big. I can't put over how important this show is to the Northeast area, to independent wrestling altogether. But it's huge. It's ginormous. It's bigly. It's huge. It's important. So real quick, let me run down some important information that we have for everybody regarding attendance at Foxwoods Resort Casino. This information was passed on to us from Sports Entertainment Experience on Twitter, and friend of the show, John Sebastian of Feast Championship Wrestling and Beyond Wrestling. So I'm looking down my notes here real quick. What we've got is tickets will be available at Will Call. There will be set up. Will Call will be set up at the registration desk in the large ballroom area. So you'll want to check in. You'll want to get your hand stamped. I guess there's 2 hand stamps. There's one for the VIP early access people, and then there's the general admission ticket holders. You'll get your hand stamped, and I believe the VIP early access will get in a little bit earlier than your general admission. There will be metal detectors, so make sure that you don't slow up the process. Have everything out of your pockets, keys, etc. Anything that might set that metal detector off. Get those out of your pockets before you get in there. There's going to be a lot of people trying to get into the show, and we don't want to hold up the lines, right? So let's move the lines right along. So if you're like me and you want to make a day of this, well, that's great because you have every opportunity to do so. Starting at 11 a.m. at K&M All-Star Sports in the Tanger Outlets at Foxwoods Resort Casino. They're doing autograph sessions with some of the stars of Beyond Wrestling and a special guest, the Rock and Roll Express. This is going to be a fantastic time. This is going to be very popular, so get there early, get in line, show your support. The wrestlers that are going to be there representing Beyond Wrestling, you're going to see the retrosexual Anthony Green, along with the Platinum Honeys of Ava Everett and Angel Sinclair. And then you're also going to have Joey Janela, independent wrestling sensation, independent AEW wrestler now. So maybe he's not an independent wrestling sensation. Check this one out, because if you're a fan of AEW and what the Elite are doing down there, Joey probably won't be around too much longer to do these autograph sessions and photo opportunities. So get in line, check out the bad boy, and get that picture and autograph. Orange Cassidy, the independent wrestling champion, will also be there signing autographs and taking pictures, but he probably doesn't know it. He's so chill. He just does whatever, because he's from wherever and does whatever. Yeah. Anyway, and then Rock and Roll Express. So the prices are set by the talent, so I'm not sure exactly what those will be and how much you'll have to pay for an autograph or a picture, but I'm sure it won't be too much, I want to mention that a friend of the show, Rich Palladino, the ring announcer for Beyond Wrestling, I believe his Twitter's name at Rich. I'm sorry, Rich, I'm butchering this one. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I should have written this one down. I'm sorry, Rich. But Rich is looking for the 2-pack of the Rock and Roll Express action figures. If anybody's got them, go ahead and DM me at DDS Squad Pod and let me know you got them, and I'll put you in touch with Rich, or find Rich directly on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. You can search him out and find him, and let him know he's looking for them. He'd love to get those figures in his collection and get them autographed by the Rock and Roll Express himself. The show will start, I believe doors are at 3, and that the show will start at 4. The first hour of the show will be free on independentwrestling.tv, so you'll want to check that out, like I said. And while you're there, if you don't have a subscription, you might as well get one, because this is going to be a show that you're not going to want to miss. After the show, there will be an after party hosted by the Platinum Honeys of Ava Everett and Angel Sinclair at Shrine, right next door to the Premier Ballroom, where we're going to be for Americanrana. So that's going to be a Shrine nightclub. That's 21 and over only. And they have a rule of no tank tops, no shorts, and no flip-flops, just so you're aware. I know it's going to be a nice, warm summer day. So, that short rule, that one sticks in my craw a little bit, too. So what we got here for you, we got the card. So let's, if you've been following along with the podcast over the last few months, we've really been hyping the hell out of the show, and not unduly. This is the show that we've been looking forward to. I've been looking forward to all year since the last one. This would be my fourth Americanrana in person, and they keep growing and getting bigger. The first one I went to was at FET in Providence, and then the other two were at the White Eagle, where Uncharted Territory is now being held weekly on independentwrestling.tv. So let's start with the opening match. So John Silver versus Alex Reynolds will open the show. Let's talk about this one here. So if you're not familiar, Alex Reynolds and John Silver were a tag team of the Beaver Boys, and they proclaimed themselves as the aces, the tag team aces of Beyond Wrestling. They won the tournament, the tag tournament for tomorrow, last year. Was that last year already? Wow. That was a while ago. Yeah. So they won that tag tournament, and they were declaring themselves the tag team aces of Beyond. Over the last few months, it seemed like a little jealousy had gotten in between the two tag partners, and they both kind of, I'm not going to say who's to blame, because I really don't know. At one point, John Silver was the CZW champion, and it seemed to be that all he cared about was that belt and that championship, and he didn't care about winning tag team matches anymore with John Silver. And maybe John Silver took a little bit of umbrage, and maybe he wasn't really happy with the attention he was getting from his tag partner and the assistance he was getting in these matches. And they went on a losing streak, and it got to the point where these guys weren't there for each other anymore. They weren't best buds. They weren't tag team. They weren't a tag team anymore, and they started attacking each other. And this sets up our match, our opening match for Americanrana. John Silver versus Alex Reynolds. Stupid Alex Reynolds, as Ryan would call him. This will be a good match. This will be fun. This will be a great way to set the tone and start the show. And this will be the free match, first hour free. So this will be the first thing anybody sees on independent wrestling TV. And also interesting to note that these two men will be the first guys to ever wrestle in a match at Foxwoods Resort Casino. And Foxwoods has been around now 25 years. So this is really impressive that these guys are running a show here, and these will be your first ones. As the rest of the order of the show goes, I'm not so sure. I'm not certain what goes on first. After the first match, I do know what closes the show, and we'll get to that. So I'm just going to jump around a little bit and talk about the matches that'll be on the card. So, and give you a little bit of a backstory and a little primer here for Americanrana. So Chris Statlander versus Kimberly in a steel cage match. So if you've been following along, this one goes back to Lethal Lottery. And actually before Lethal Lottery, this one goes back to early on with Uncharted Territory. Kimberly had always been the one of the backbones, if you will, for Beyond Wrestling. She was one of the mainstays. She was one of the up-and-coming talents. And she had a bright future ahead of her. She got signed by WWE. She was down in NXT. She was in Florida for maybe a year and a half, something like that. And then WrestleMania 2018. Yep. She got, right before Mania, she got a release, and she made her return to Beyond Wrestling and was looking to take that top spot back. But in the meantime, Chris Statlander, a relatively newcomer in the world of professional wrestling, she's only been in the business, I believe, less than 3 years. And she came in and she's torn up the independents, torn up the scene, and she just kept having match after match that people would talk about, people would write about, people would rave about, and people would be like, hey, you need to see this match. Case in point, her match with Joey Janela at Uncharted Territory, Match of the Year candidate. So Kimberly took offense to people thinking that Chris Statlander was here to take her spot and that she was better than Kimberly. And Kimberly showed up at Uncharted Territory and attacked Chris Statlander. This set up a match at Lethal Lottery, Beyond Wrestling Lethal Lottery, in East Greenwich, whatever they pronounce it. I know they pronounce it a little differently up in Rhode Island than we do down here in Connecticut. So that set up a match, and I thought that was going to be it. I thought they were done with each other, and at this Beyond Secret show, Kimberly attacked Chris Statlander again, and she's been poking the bear a little bit, and that's what led us to here to set us up in this match. So we get Kimberly and Chris Statlander inside a steel cage. So these hit and runs that Kimberly was doing, she'll attack her and get the heck out of there before Chris Statlander could get her back and give her a receipt. So Chris Statlander insisted that this be a steel cage match so Kimberly could not get away from her. Really looking forward to this one. I misspoke on the podcast last week. This is not, in fact, the first cage match in Beyond Wrestling history, and I feel like an idiot because I should have known this. And in my defense, I looked for it. I couldn't find it. Maybe I should have been using Google and not some stupid search engine that Alex Reynolds would use or something like that. So I apologize out there for giving some misinformation. This is, I believe, the fourth, maybe the fifth cage match. So that none of that matters. This is going to be a hell of a match. This is going to be one of the best matches on the card, I believe, come Sunday. And I'm really looking forward to that one. So next one I have here that we're going to discuss is Bear Country versus EYFBO. So we talked a little while ago with Alex Reynolds and John Silver, the Beaver Boys, declaring themselves the tag team aces of Beyond Wrestling. If you're new to Beyond and you don't really catch on to the aces thing, Beyond doesn't do tag titles. They don't do world titles. They don't need a champion to close out a show. So what they have instead is they have an ace. They have the best wrestler on the card, and that is your ace. Joe, and we'll get to David Starr being the ace of Beyond Wrestling, and he took that from Donovan Dijak before Dijak left. But here, Bear Country has been going around calling themselves the aces of Beyond Wrestling's tag team division. And EYFBO, also known as LAX for anybody who watches along on Impact Wrestling, EYFBO has always been the aces of Beyond Wrestling tag team division. Stupid phone. Of course it's going to ring now, right? Right in the middle of this? Oh, well. We're going to leave that in because that's what we do. Let the phone ring for a minute. My wife will answer it. Maybe. So EYFBO took umbrage. I'm using that word a lot. They heard Bear Country calling themselves the tag team aces, and they weren't having any of that. So Bear Country, who haven't been around in Beyond Wrestling for very long, they've been they're relatively new. They've been around maybe since April. With the start of Uncharted Territory Season 1. I believe that's when we've seen them emerge here. And they've been on a hell of a run, and they are a very, very good tag team. They are one of my favorite tag teams right now, but I just can't say that they're the aces. They've had a lot of good matches, but in order to be the aces of Beyond Wrestling, you have to beat EYFBO. You have to beat Santana, Mike Dryzik, whatever you want to call him, and Angel Ortiz. You just got to. And we'll see that happen, maybe, this Sunday at Americanrana, because this is one of the most anticipated matches from a lot of the fans that I talk to. This is what they're looking forward to seeing. So this one's going to buckle up for this one. This one's going to be a hell of a ride. You're going to love this match. This one can main event this one's going to be able to main event any card anywhere. So that's going to be fun. All right, next match I want to talk about is Chuck O'Neil versus Wheeler Yuta. This one, Wheeler's been trying to get his hands on Chuck. Chuck came back to Beyond Wrestling and claimed that he was there to make Beyond Wrestling legit again. He was there to bring back the legit aspects of Beyond Wrestling and to make everybody know that his belt, his judo belt or whatever it is the only belt in wrestling that matters because it's legit and he earned it and whatever. So he's been picking his spots and the crowd has hated him. They've just turned their back on him. They've booed him. They couldn't, every time he got a microphone, they booed the shit out of him so that you couldn't hear him, even with a microphone. Enter the return of Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta came back from wrestling over in Germany at WXW, and he decided, hey, this guy's been a real dick. I got to shut him up. So he shows up after Chuck O'Neil was beating down defenseless. I can't remember. Sorry about that one. And nonetheless, Wheeler Yuta came back and stopped Chuck's actions from happening, and it kind of escalated. Chuck a couple weeks ago attacked some referees, attacked some officials, attacked some people, and he got suspended indefinitely. And then last night at Uncharted Territory, which would be 2 nights ago for anybody listening at home, Wednesday this week on Uncharted Territory, Chuck O'Neal bum rushed Wheeler Yuta with a steel chair, cracking him over the head, leaving him bloody, and Wheeler declaring, begging, and just like trying to get that suspension lifted so that this match could happen in Americanrana. And that's what happened. The suspension's lifted, and we will get Wheeler Yuta versus Chuck O'Neal, Cold Steel Chuck O'Neal, at Americanrana this Sunday. So one of the matches that I've been looking forward to the most is the Feast Championship Wrestling ladder match for the Feast Championship Wrestling title. The Feast Championship, the Feast champion is Cheeseburger from Ring of Honor. Excuse me. And entered into this match so far that we know of, because I'm sure there's going to be some surprise entrance into this one. We got Cheeseburger, of course, as the champion. Puff, Johnny Cockstrong, Retrosexual Anthony Green, Marco Stunt, Solo Darling, and everybody's not favorite, nobody's favorite. Let's phrase it that way. Nobody's favorite, Ken Doane. And going through the match, this story is that Ken Doane cannot win this title. The fans hate Ken Doane. Nobody likes Ken Doane. But Ken says, you know what? I'm coming out there and I'm taking that title. Screw you guys. I don't give a shit. I'm going to come take that belt. So John Sebastian of Feast Championship Wrestling and Beyond Wrestling, of course, has decided, I'm going to find anybody I can. I'm going to reach out to anybody I know, anybody that would be interested to stop Ken Doane, anybody that can stop him from winning this title, because I don't want him as my champion. I don't want him as Feast Championship Wrestling's champion. And that list is pretty impressive. That list is a list that would I would be able to stop him, and I don't even know who to put my money on in that match. But the curveball here is last night Ken Doane joined Club Cam so now Cam Zagami, if anybody's, I should have talked about this first, but Cam Zagami has his little kind of like a stable now. He's got a tag team. He's got Christian Casanova and he's got Ken Doane. I don't know if they're going to be a tag team going forward, but they're now both VIP members or VIP guys in that Club Cam, and they're represented by Cam Zagami. So there's always a possibility that Christian Casanova and Cam Zagami will be lurking around during this match to try to help Ken get that title. I'm really looking forward to this match. This is one of the ones that it's high on my list. So really looking forward to this one. This is going to be a great match, good ladder match, and this will be one that'll excite the crowd, I'm sure. So speaking of Cam Zagami and Christian Casanova, that brings me to last week on Uncharted Territory and the whole build-up a couple weeks ago for the tag match of the Chop and Roll Express, which is Brian Alvarez from the Figure 4 Online Wrestling Observer newsletter. He does a radio show with Dave Meltzer. There's an internet show, podcast type of thing. And he's teaming up with Filthy Tom Lawler. And they issued a challenge or Thomas Santel, I believe, issued the challenge. And Thomas Santel said, I'll find a tag team partner, and it'll be me and my tag team partner versus the two of you. So after a long, exhaustive search, Thomas Santel found his tag team partner in MDK all fucking day, the King, Nick fucking Gage. And now it's Nerder Death Kill versus the Chop and Roll Express. So, yeah, this is one that I'm really looking forward to. And I probably said that for every match because, man, I'm so excited. I'm so pumped for this show. But this match in particular, because I've become a fan of Thomas Santel because of his work on Uncharted Territory in the Discovery Gauntlet series. And Cam Zagami and Christian Casanova knocked him out of that gauntlet, the winner stays on gauntlet each week on Uncharted Territory. And that's how the story gets us to here with Nerd or Death Kill versus the Chop and Roll Express. So this one's going to be good. And right now, from everything I see online, Brian Alvarez is shaking in his boots. He is scared shitless. He's like, you got to be kidding me. This is his tag partner? The deathmatch guy, Nick Gage? I don't want to wrestle him. I don't want to be in that match. Well, you're in that match, and you're probably going to die. So I hope they bring a lot of body bags to Foxwoods because get that coroner on call. And, we'll get Patrick, my brother-in-law who works at Foxwoods as a firefighter. We'll get him up there, get some EMTs, and we'll make sure that these guys are taken care of after they get killed by Nick Gage and the nerd Thomas Santel. Be a fun one. Be a real fun one. Let's talk about Daisuke Sekimoto and Chris Dickinson. Daisuke Sekimoto is a Japanese legend. And when they announced this match, I was like, whoa. So going back, Chris Dickinson won the Battle Bowl at Lethal Lottery, allowing him to pick his opponent for Americanrana. At the end of Lethal Lottery, Dickinson says, I want Daisuke Sekimoto. And Dickinson is on a mission to prove something to himself, prove to the world just how good he is and just how overlooked he's been and some of the other things that he needs to prove to everybody. And he's done that. If you can't look at Chris Dickinson's run here on Uncharted Territory, the names that he's been through, the match he put on with Eric Stevens, the sick run that he's been on, and you can't say that man doesn't. If you say that man doesn't deserve to be signed to AEW, to WWE somewhere with a full-time contract, you're out of your damn mind. Chris Dickinson is one of the best wrestlers on the independent scene right now, and this run has just been phenomenal. But you have to wonder, hey, has Captain Dickey been putting it too much out there? Has the filthy father been laying too much on the line, laying it out there a little bit too hard? Has he overdone it? Has he overextended himself? I know right now he's got some back issues that he's going to have looked at after this match with Sekimoto. Did he maybe shorten his career just to have this match and to prove something to people? I don't know. But we'll find out Sunday at Americanrana. And you got to wonder what shape Sekimoto will be in because he's wrestling 3 times that weekend. And so is Dickinson. But I mean, I don't know. Dickinson's he's been banged up. He's been beat up. He's been putting on Sully after Sully and just having the fucking best match of the night, time in and time out. Look what he did with fucking Thatcher this week. That match with Thatcher on Uncharted Territory. It was the match of the night, and it was fucking phenomenal. He got the win over Thatcher. But if Beyond were to put out a greatest hits of Uncharted Territory Season 1, the whole DVD would be Chris Dickinson matches. And then you can throw in the Joey Janela, Chris Statlander match there too. But, excuse me, Dickinson is a top guy, and he should be doing top guy things. And I hope nothing but the best for him. I hope his back is okay after he gets his MRI, and I hope everything works out for him. I wish him well, and I can't wait for this match. These guys are going to beat the hell out of each other. R.D. Evans versus Orange Cassidy for the Independent Wrestling Championship. For those unfamiliar with R.D. Evans, he was a independent wrestler turned producer, writer for the World Wrestling Entertainment Company, WWE. That's sports entertainment company over there down at the other end of this fair state of Connecticut. And WrestleMania weekend, he was the producer, the writer on the segment for Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart's Hall of Fame induction. And I believe he worked with Bret on his speech. Now, if you were to read the sheets and follow along on Reddit and those type of websites, R.D. Evans was responsible for Bret Hart thanking Vince McMahon by name. I don't know if he was or not. I don't know for sure, for certain. But what ended up happening was R.D. Evans fell on his sword and quit. He left WWE that weekend. He no longer works for them. And after quitting, he realized, shit, how am I going to make a living? All right, well, let me wrestle. I'll go back to wrestling. Shit, I don't want to wrestle. He's got these great vignettes, great videos that he produced that are out there that you should go out and check out. Independent Wrestling TV has been airing them before Uncharted Territory, and they're out there online. I'm sure R.D. Evans has got them on Twitter or something like that, or YouTube. I'm sure you can find them if you look for them. But he says, I don't want to wrestle full time. You know what? Orange Cassidy. I'll wrestle Orange Cassidy. So the only match right now that R.D. Evans is going to wrestle or has scheduled, and I believe he's putting his career on the line. This could be his very last match ever. And it's against Orange Cassidy, the independent wrestling champion. And Orange, if you're not familiar with Orange, you got to check out Orange's work. Orange is like this laissez-faire, have no care, chill dude. Like, all right, I guess I'm going to go out here. I'm going to wrestle a little bit. And he lulls people into this false sense of they're going to be able to get him, that he can't wrestle, that he's nobody, that he doesn't put effort in. And then, boom, he turns on a dime, he lights it up, and the dude can work. And he's probably one of the most in-demand wrestlers right now on the independent scene. And he is the independent wrestling champion, and this is for the independent wrestling championship. Really looking forward to this one. Career versus title, R.D. Evans versus Orange Cassidy. It's going to be a sully. All right, what else we got? Ooh, Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs versus Johnny Foxwoods, a.k.a. Johnny Mundo, a.k.a. Johnny Impact, a.k.a. Johnny Nitro, a.k.a. John Hennigan. So, for people unfamiliar, he wrestled in WWE. He was on Tough Enough, I believe, season 1 or season 2. He's been around a while. And he just wrapped up his run with Impact Wrestling. Before that, he was on Lucha Underground. And he's been around. He's been around a while. And he's a tremendous athlete, a tremendous wrestler. He does some parkour stuff. He does some flippy shit, as some people like to call it. But he's a tremendous wrestler. And he's going up with probably one of the best Beyond has to offer, and quite honestly, the next breakout star in independent wrestling, Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs was just featured in a match with Anthony Green on the WWE Network. He for Evolve's 10th anniversary show, and what a match that was. And he's also it seems like he's being groomed and pushed as the next Evolve champion, or the next guy in Evolve, and he's about to have a run, it looks like, with Austin Theory in Evolve. But here he's got his hands full with the uber athletic Johnny Foxwoods. Really looking forward to this one. It's two different styles. They're going to clash, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be probably a potential show stealer. So definitely get your popcorn ready for that one, guys, and buckle up. That one's another one that's going to be a roller coaster. You're gonna want to see every minute of. So that leads me to, and I hope I'm not missing any. I went back and I looked, and I think I got every match here. That leads us to the main event. All right, I'm putting the notebook down. Okay, we're gonna have a serious conversation here. Joey Janela versus David Starr. A 60-minute Iron Man match. This past week on Uncharted Territory, Joey came out and explained this story. This started back in May of 2016 with these two guys. Right before I became aware of Beyond. Right before Joey became a household name after being thrown off the building down there with GCW. I believe it was GCW. And that was his match with Zandig, I believe. I hope I'm not wrong on that. I'm brain farting today, both folks. But anyway, so let's go back here and let's talk about May 2016. The first time these two met at Beyond Wrestling, Joey tried to run David Starr over with a car. Legit. I've seen the video. You can see it too. It's out there. He tried to run David Starr over with his car. These two started off not liking each other. They've met a few times in Beyond, notably with their match at Heavy Lies the Crown at New Year's Eve 2017 going into 18. That being the actual first match of 2018. And then that was a Fans Bring the Weapons match at the White Eagle in Worcester, Massachusetts. And that one saw David Starr picking up the win. I think he pile drived him onto a pile of cinder blocks, if memory serves me correctly. And it may not. I've taken a couple chair shots. So then their next match was a no-rope barbed wire match, which was at Americanrana last year at the Eagle. So Americanrana 18. Freaking nuts. Crazy. That match was ultra violent. A lot of blood. Penelope got involved. Penelope got messed up. And then Joey took this bump to the floor. Another crazy match. So what I'm getting at here is these two guys don't like each other. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to hurt the other man. This match is a 60-minute Iron Man match. Joey Janela has a reputation of not being, on the internet as a great wrestler. He's actually turned that around in a lot of people's opinion, and mine in particular. And he has solidified himself as a tremendous wrestler. He had that great match with Chris Statlander that I implore you to go and watch. Match of the year contender, if not match of the year already. This match here, I know he wants, before he goes away. So I was talking with a couple guys before Uncharted Territory this week, and we were discussing why we haven't seen MJF. I'm going to digress a little bit here. I'm going to tell this story to get to my point. We have Joey Janela signed with AEW. We haven't seen MJF since he signed with AEW and Beyond, or a lot of places. I believe he's pretty much satisfied with what he's doing with AEW, and that he doesn't need to wrestle the independents anymore. I tell you that to tell you this. Joey Janela has this contract with AEW. He's a star. He's going to be a star. He's already had 2 tremendous matches with AEW. He wrestled Jon Moxley in Jon Moxley's first match for AEW out of WWE. Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose. Joey Janela wants to have the best match in independent wrestling history. He's determined. He's not resting on his laurels, not resting on his contract with AEW. He's determined to have the best wrestling match in independent wrestling history. He's come close with that match with Chris Statlander, and now he's going to put in one hell of an effort here in a 60-minute Iron Man no disqualification match. And he said, and both of these guys said to each other, one of them will be leaving in a body bag. There will be a murder at Foxwoods. So this match won't be for the faint of heart. It will be a bloody match. It's no DQ. Excuse me. It's no DQ, so you have to wonder what exactly either one of these men are willing to do to have this type of match, have that match, best match of the independents ever, to finally end this feud, this blood feud that's been going for now almost going on 3-4 years. And with Joey being signed and AEW announcing their TV deal, you got to suspect that Joey's going to be done on the independent scene, whether he likes it or not. He's going to have to go exclusive with AEW. And that means this very well could be Joey Janela's last match in Beyond Wrestling. I'm going to emphasize that. This could be Joey Janela's last match in Beyond Wrestling ever. Think about that. Joey Janela has been a staple. He's been called the ace of Beyond Wrestling. David Starr, also been called the ace of Beyond Wrestling. David Starr has earned that name of the ace of Beyond Wrestling. Fans are torn. They chant "Not my ace" at David Starr. They chant "Not my ace" at Joey Janela. Fans are torn. This match very well could be the last match in Beyond Wrestling for Joey Janela and be the best wrestling match in independent wrestling history. Don't miss this match. I implore you. Do not miss this show. Do not miss this match. David Starr is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Joey Janela is one of the best wrestlers in independence and also a signed AEW guy. He's going to be a household name with that company. You're going to see him on Wednesday nights on TNT live. This is going to be a great match. This one's going to burn the house down. This is going to be fun. This whole show, I don't know how many matches we counted out there, and I'm sure Beyond has some surprises for us because that's what they do. They're really good at keeping us guessing. They're really good at keeping us on our toes, and I just cannot wait for this show Sunday at Foxwoods Resort Casino. I can't wait to get the crew together, the squad. We're going to squad up. We're going to have a great day, great wrestling weekend. Be on the lookout for our vlog because I'm definitely going to vlog a little bit about this. I'm going to show you our experiences for the weekend while the autograph signings, some other stuff. I've had some requests to do some joint podcasting, so maybe we'll do some quick hits that we throw into the show next weekend. So yeah, keep an eye out where you can find us at on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Podbeam, all those wonderful places. And for those watching along with us on YouTube, this is where we part ways. I do have some bonus material for the audio pod. Unfortunately, I don't have the video for it. So if you want to hear it, we got some great interviews. Well, they're not really interviews. So what I did was I'm going to tease it on the video and then have you go back and listen to the podcast. What we did was after the show Wednesday night at Worcester, Uncharted Territory, episode 17, the penultimate episode. Yeah, say that 3 times fast, right? Penultimate episode of season 1. I was able to, with the assistance of John Sebastian and Beyond Wrestling, I was able to ask one question. That's all I wanted. I wanted to ask one question to some of the wrestlers in Beyond Wrestling and people involved with Beyond Wrestling, because as a fan, and that's what this is all about. This is about being a wrestling fan, and this is me putting my fandom out there and sharing that with the world and sharing that with all of you. And I thank you for coming along for the ride. But what I wanted to know was, as a fan, what are you looking forward to most at Americanrana on Sunday? And some of the answers here, they definitely they're different. They're all over the place. They're not everybody has the same answer. So this is really good. So if you're watching at home, go ahead and listen. Grab us on iTunes or whatever, and listen to the end of the show. If you want, just fast forward in about 45 minutes and catch this point here, and then subscribe and all that fun stuff to catch any more, and especially the Rana show. Post Rana show will be special. Will be awesome. I'm hoping to be able to grab a couple other guys, and maybe Mr. Americanrana himself might be able to get David Starr for a minute to get him on to get his thoughts on his match with Joey Janela. Fingers crossed. I'm going to try to do that. All right, so thanks for watching along, and for those listening along, here's the interview will drop here in just a second, and thanks for watching along on the YouTube. And now we're here with just the audio version of the show. So, unfortunately, what happened here was we recorded this right after Uncharted Territory ended, so there's a lot of background noise, a lot of busyness going on, and I apologize for any of that. But the interview still came out pretty good. Unfortunately, it was hard to hear who everybody was. So what I want to do is I want to run down everybody that we interviewed in the order that we interviewed them. The retrosexual Anthony Green, and from there we have we asked the question to Angel Sinclair, then Rich Palladino, Puff, John Sebastian, Solo Darling, and then we wrap it up with Josh Briggs. So take a listen, and I'll come back afterwards and recap and wrap up the pod and just give you my thoughts on the interviews. We're here. It's a little loud for us here. We're here with Dale Hurstbear Bronson, and we're here after Uncharted Territory. And guys, we're heading into Americanrana this Sunday. What are you guys looking forward to most as a fan looking at this card? It's a stacked card. It's a lot of stuff. What are you looking forward to most as a wrestling fan?
Want to answer first?
Yeah, I'll go first. After tonight's show on Uncharted Territory, the last show going into Americanrana, I mean, you saw the episode.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not.
If you're not excited for Americanrana, I don't know, man.
I know. You don't have a pulse, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's going to be a killer show.
Yes.
But everybody's got the deep down fan. I've never seen Rock and Roll Express live. The nostalgia kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot going into this. You've got a big match coming into the show.
To piggyback off what you just said about the nostalgia, I think the coolest thing from a fan's perspective about the show is there's going to be something for absolutely anybody. Yeah. Anybody, whether you're into the more funny, lighthearted stuff. If you're into for serious fights, nostalgia factor like Rock and Roll Express, that's awesome. It's just there's something for everyone. You're going to get every single type of match that you could possibly get at the show. I think from a fan's perspective, sorry, I can't talk. That to me is the most. I hope I'm on early, so then when I'm done, I'm watching the rest of the show.
Yeah,
I can't wait. There's a freaking cage match too. I mean, you know what I mean? It's awesome.
I think it's going to be a really cool situation for all three of us because DL, Bear, and myself, it's our first Rana.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you're kind of asking people that have never really been in experiencing such a large scale event. So that's what I'm most excited for. I think last year, watching Rana as a fan, I set a goal for myself to be a part of it, and now I am. So I feel like DL probably did too, and Bear, So
yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Hey, G, how you doing, bud?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So I'm asking everybody, what's the one thing as a fan you're looking forward to most in Americanrana?
I mean, the fact that this is the first time professional wrestling has ever happened at Foxwoods, I think it's a huge deal. Not to mention it's going to be the biggest crowd in Beyond Wrestling history. So I think as a fan, I think just being a part of history like that is cool in itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get chills when you think about it. The amount of people that are going to be in the room, and even this card is shaping up to be. Now we know the full card. It's gonna be a banger.
Also, I think something that's really special about the event is it reminds me a lot of like a WrestleMania type day. The day starts at 11 a.m. at K&M Sports. There's going to be an autograph signing with Beyond Wrestling regulars Joey Janela, Orange Cassidy, myself, and the Platinum Honeys. Not to mention the Rock and Roll Express will be there doing a signing. Then you have the entire Americanrana card, and then you end the night with the Platinum Honeys hangover after party at Shrine.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's going to be an insane night.
That's great. All right, appreciate it.
No, thank you. Oh yeah.
Yes, Angel, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. What are you looking forward to most in Americanrana come Sunday?
What am I looking forward to?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's at Foxwoods.
Yeah.
It's going to be the largest crowd. It's going to be amazing. Great, amazing talent. Like, I just can't wait to see all of it. And then after, obviously, our after
you guys
party.
are hosting the after party
At Shrine, yes.
We'll be there, so it'll be great. Great time.
Awesome. Very awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
How are you?
Is it too loud in
I
here?
think we're okay. We got a little muffler on here, and the dial says we're all right. So
That's technology.
it's a little bit of technology.
Sure.
Goes a long way with a dumb guy.
Me or you?
Yeah. So I'm asking everybody, as a wrestling fan, what are you looking forward to most in Americanrana?
Rock and Roll Express.
That's
Oh, yeah. See, I have everything written here.
Yeah.
But Ricky and Robert, and if anybody hears this before Sunday that has a 2-pack, Rock and Roll Express, WWE Classics tag team figures,
Yep.
I'll pay good money for it because I want to get them signed.
We'll put it out there.
But everywhere like Amazon and eBay was like super expensive.
Yeah, it's
So
not worth it.
I'm shit out of luck. Can I swear?
You can swear.
I'm shit out of luck.
We're the dude over shit squad. You can swear.
Oh, fantastic. I love it. I love it.
Great. All right, well, I appreciate it, Rich. We'll
Anytime.
get together later and do like a little bit more extensive.
Anytime, anything you need.
Appreciate the help.
Yeah, man.
We'll see you Sunday.
Can't wait.
All right, thanks, man. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm asking everybody, since the show is going to be so huge come Sunday, what are you looking forward to the most as a wrestling fan?
As a wrestling fan,
Yeah.
not my match. I mean, my match is gonna be insane.
Oh, I'm looking forward to your
But
match.
I don't care about me wrestling. That hour-long Iron Man match
Yeah.
is gonna be. Can I swear?
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
Star. It's no DQ now.
I know that.
Star versus Janela for a fucking hour.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
An hour of wrestling alone is just insane.
Yeah,
but
and
those
I think
two.
that's what I'm looking forward to myself.
Exactly.
You know,
No
it's
holds
like-
barred, no DQ. It's
Yeah.
going to be
It's
absolutely
gonna be
insane.
great. It's going to be awesome. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Is that all?
That's it, man. Trying to make it quick for everybody. Appreciate it. John Sebastian from Feast Championship Wrestling here. John, what are you looking forward to most coming Sunday with Americanrana?
So, Sunday's been a long road for the back office staff at Beyond Wrestling, and I'm most looking forward to that first bell ringing and then being able to be a wrestling fan again. Through this process, you kind of give up the ability to be a fan, but then there's times where I look at the match card and I'm like, holy shit, as a fan, this is a card that I really want to see. So it's going to be great to see some of my friends and co-workers get to take such a big stage, and I'm a very big, it's going to be an emotional time when I watch these guys work so hard for so long to finally be able to showcase what they're going to do in front of that audience in that place. I mean, the first guy out for Americanrana will be the first wrestler to ever compete at Foxwoods, and that's a big deal.
It is. It really is.
So, I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to most of the fan. From a match perspective, I think Chris Dickinson has been on the single greatest run in independent wrestling history, and he got through tonight with Timothy Thatcher, and now his sights are locked on Daisuke Sakamoto, and I think both of those guys are probably willing to make that their last match in order to have it be their best match.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, thanks, John. We'll see you Sunday.
You got it.
Darling, we're 4 days now away from Americanrana. As a wrestling fan, what are you looking forward to most about the show?
The whole show is jam-packed with all of my friends that are going to kill it, that it's really hard to pick. I've never been in a ladder match before. I'm really hyped to do that, but I have a soft spot for MDK and Ovaltine.
Oh, yeah. You know, it's hard to pick one match on the show, too, but going in, the ladder match is one of my favorites to look forward to. So
Awesome.
Go out there and kill it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm going to catch a bunch of legs.
That's awesome. Get those legs. Thanks, Solo. Appreciate it. Briggs, going into Americanrana as a wrestling fan, what are you looking forward to most?
As a wrestling fan, I love hard-hitting wrestling. Anyone who's watched Uncharted Territory and watched me or listened to me commentate knows that I'm a humongous fan of Chris Dickinson.
Yeah.
So him and Daisuke Sakamoto are going to really beat the hell out of each other, and I'm going to be on the edge of my seat. I love that type of wrestling, so that's really what I'm most excited for.
That's a show stealer right there.
Of course.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, John. Man, just listening back to those interviews, it's simple. It's a simple question. It's, hey, what are you guys looking forward to the most as a wrestling fan come Sunday? And a lot of those answers resonate. You know, the Foxwoods is a big deal, and they definitely feel that, and they're looking forward to that too. But I think John really summed up exactly what I as a wrestling fan, you would think that somebody involved with the business would feel like, they've been putting all this effort in, and after the bell rings, now they could take that deep breath of relief and become a wrestling fan again and enjoy the show. And I'm really looking forward to that. And, these guys have made me feel part of the Beyond, like I'm part of the Beyond family. I joked with Ryan and Conrad a couple weeks ago when we were up at an Uncharted Territory, and I said to them, that movie Happy Gilmore, and he's got to go to his happy place in order to sink that putt. I said, this is my happy place. This is where I feel the most comfortable. I feel like the most like myself. And as a wrestling fan, there's always that stigma that you're dumb or why are you watching that stuff? That shit's fake, right? Those type of things that you put up with throughout your life. And when you're at Beyond, it's just, it's different. It's, you feel like you're around people who get it, who are like you, you're like-minded individuals, and you're there for what anticipating is going to be a hell of a show. And that's what we're going to get on Sunday. We're going to get a hell of a show at Foxwoods Resort Casino. I hope to see you there. If you're there, come check us out. Dudo Shit Squad. We're sitting front row. Normally we stand up against the ring, but with my bad back, I couldn't do it for 6 hours. We're sitting front row, dead center, right across from the entrance. You can't miss us. I'll be the guy wearing the Denver, Colorado Bobby shirt with the tongue out. Wear it at every show because DC to God, and without him, we wouldn't be here. And so I just pay my respects to him that way. So that's it for me today with the preview of Americanrana. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you were able to hear those interviews and enjoy what we put out there for you today. And it's a little bit longer than what we like to do, but this is important. This is a preview show. This is the biggest show of the year for Beyond Wrestling, and I can't wait for it, and I can't wait to see you there. So just remember, come Sunday, no matter what you do, you have a great time, but do dope shit, because that's what it's about. Just doing dope shit. All right. Enjoy Americanrana. Follow us at DDS Squad Pod on Twitter, Instagram, do dope shit squad, iTunes, DDS Squad Pod. Check us out. And we appreciate it. All right. Do dope shit.